Our last episode was a continuation of the potential for cryptocurrencies to be regulated via guidelines and recommendations made by the FSB. Now let's examine how that would actually happen. First of all, the authors of these guidelines and regulations start out by claiming that crypto is highly unregulated. This simply isn't true. It's very regulated, by its very nature of existing simply due to blockchain technology. But current crypto regulations also depend on what country you're in. For example, here in Estonia, where we make Future Digital, crypto used to be completely unregulated, and there were over 500 crypto-related companies right here. In the past year, the entire cryptoverse in Estonia came under scrutiny, and the number is now suddenly much lower than 500. But the new regulations haven't been fully enacted yet, so their final effect has yet to be seen. But before crypto regulations can exist, according to the FSB, they need to first establish a classification system for them. You know the law, they like to classify everything according to minor, often insignificant details. For example, we all know murder is bad. You shouldn't murder people. Okay. But if you do, you need to first understand that the law is going to classify your actions according to often insignificant details. Did you murder that person for a reason? Or did you do it just on an impulse? Was it an accident? Did you cause an accident on purpose that ended with death? There's first-degree murder, second-degree murder, third-degree murder, voluntary manslaughter, involuntary manslaughter, first-degree purposefully developing self-driving cars and the AI singularity, and worst of all, voluntarily writing romance novels. They kill lots of relationships due to unfulfilled expectations in the bedroom. Most of the classifications the FSB wants to use are for general terms like what is a trading token, which is totally understandable. But it's actually not clear how many cryptocurrencies there actually are, surprisingly. If you want to crack down on something, you of course need to know the strength of the enemy army. No one also knows how much crypto is being traded on centralized or decentralized exchanges. The FSB also wants to know how much trading is going on in the cryptoverse outside of their financial control. That's an odd thing to not know, in fact, as blockchain is recorded simultaneously around the globe. That's the definition of blockchain. You can see everything if you know how to access it. Essentially, the financial powers that be don't like it if people are making money if a bank is not involved. But that's why the cryptoverse exists, so you can make money without the fat cats taking a cut. What the FSB really wants to do is break up cryptocurrencies into their basic elements and regulate each of them independently. This would, for all intents and purposes, destroy the cryptoverse. One aspect of crypto that they are specifically targeting is stablecoins, such as TrueUSD, Paxos, Tether, USD Coin, and so on. They claim this is because it affects financial stability, which of course is a no-brainer as most of these cryptos are literally pegged to the dollar and obviously backed by US debt. Countries whose currencies are not pegged to the dollar would be threatened by this. There is one crypto company in development, Circle, that is trying to create a stablecoin for each fiat country in the world. If they succeeded, they could become the most powerful company on Earth. More powerful than Amazon, Apple, Alibaba, or any other company that starts with an A. Hint, Circle should change their name to Around. Basically, what the FSB wants to do is enforce the same regulations on crypto that exist in the rest of the financial world. And what does this actually mean? It means that the cryptoverse would become a de facto part of the existing financial order. Would it still be attractive? Would it still be volatile? Would it still offer the windfalls and pitfalls that have made it so attractive? Only time will answer these questions. The FSB, in other words, is insisting that stablecoins should be subject to control by central banks, as well as payment regulators. The whole point of crypto has been to achieve independence from this global financial system. If currencies were countries, the cryptoverse would be the American colonies in the 1760s. They didn't want to be taxed by foreign powers, so they fought a revolution a short time later and ended up becoming the dominant power on the planet. If I continue this analogy, what would be the equivalent of the Boston Tea Party? That event was basically about something being taxed, no one wanted it taxed, so they threw it overboard in the harbor so no one could have it. Could we expect some cryptocurrencies to basically scuttle themselves in the near future? And what would it look like? I doubt that would happen, but I predict some new change in the blockchain technology will happen soon so the cryptoverse can wiggle its way out of the FSB's bureaucracy. It will somehow change itself so it no longer fits into the classifications being established right now. And if it works, then it will keep doing that each time the FSB closes in on it. Now, What am I talking about? As Jeff Goldblum's character in the original Jurassic Park movie said,
"Life, finds a way."
This is so true. Any attempt to regulate or even ban something just creates a black market. Look at prohibition in the US when alcohol was illegal. The only real effect this created was a surge in organized crime, the mafia, Al Capone. Or the war on drugs. How many people have been incarcerated in the US alone for selling or possessing small amounts of marijuana, only to have it legalized in most states eventually? I'll use Portugal as an example. They've pretty much legalized all narcotics and, surprise, the whole problem has more or less entirely gone away. The FSB, in other words, is creating a new problem by trying to conquer the cryptoverse. There's financial war coming, and the powers that be will not be able to keep up technologically. This week's fact about Estonia is a short history lesson. Estonia was illegally occupied by Russia for decades, like many, many other countries. Yet there is one power in Estonia's culture that Russia could not overcome: the power of song. Singing is an age-old tradition in many countries, and historically, before reading and writing were commonplace, it was used to spread information across great distances. But you could say that Estonia is the first country to weaponize songs. In 1988, the singing revolution began, which, in addition to many other historic events, it included somewhat spontaneous singing involving hundreds of thousands of people over several days singing nationalistic, banned songs. Estonian choirs are like Voltron, little small choirs throughout the country, but when they unite to form the officially largest choir in the world, they can kick anyone's ass, even the evil empire.